what I do at work is I help with I actually work with nurses in creating resiliency exercises and a plan because working as a nurse, oftentimes we can get fatigue. We call it compassion fatigue. So it's important that we nourish ourselves so that we are able to better take care of the people around us. And so that's something that's become a passion for me, helping nurses and others manage their make sure they have a good plan in place so that they're able to take not only take care of themselves but take care of those around them.
All right, so we actually had some technical difficulty a
Oh,
moment ago that you guys didn't even know about. So what we're gonna do is just go around and just introduce ourselves real fast. And I'm Chef Bee. We have Mama Sandella Williams Malloy who just spoke. We also have Jamila Norman of Patchwork City Farms. And then we also have Yolanda Owens of Iwi Fresh and the coming Iwi Oasis. All right. So, Mama Sandella, I'm so sorry, but can you repeat what you just said in regards to, because I don't think that our viewers actually got that. All right.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
tell us a little bit about what the work that you're doing, a little bit about who you are and the work that you're doing right now.
Sure, sure, absolutely. So I'm Sandella Malloy, and I've been a nurse for the last 30 years, and that's something that's been near and dear to my heart, helping people to live healthy lives, to heal. That's always been important for me. And the other thing is that I'm a certified health coach, helping empower people to live healthier lives through nourishing their bodies, their minds, and their spirits. Because I've come to learn that they're all connected, even though sometimes in the healthcare system we focus more on your physical health. I recognize that it's important to approach this holistically. And one of the things I do at work, as well as my work as a certified health coach, is to help people create a plan, a self care plan. And I'll talk more about my experiences and getting to the point where I recognize how important self care is, to have that plan in place and an intentional plan, not something you do whenever, but that it's so important that you are actively, you have an active plan in place that you intentionally work on so that you can manage your health.
Wonderful. All right. And Jamila, could you tell them a little bit about who you are, Jamila Norman?
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Jamila Norman, aka Farmer J. And I am entrepreneur, urban farmer here in the city of Atlanta. I I started my career as an environmental engineer, really focused on environmental issues and making sure and just wanting to help communities and help the earth and the environment, with whatever environmental issues we had. And so in doing that work and coming across the idea and sort of like a lot of the information around environmental justice and recognizing that and realizing and learning that a lot of environmental problems happen more in communities of color, more in poor communities, and the effect that that has on people's health with like really high asthma rates and respiratory problems and things like that, from pollution down to any type of water pollution that can be affecting mental capacities of our children at school and their ability to focus and learn. I just realized that you know, while the work I was doing was big and important, that I felt like, what can I do that I believe would be a lot more direct and can have a bigger effect, and that I can actually be a little bit more in control of, because environmental work is just so mired in politics and it changes with the wind depending on who's in charge and who's in power, right? So that led me to growing food, and that led me to, well, let me start at the level that I can, and that is growing food in my community here on the southwest side of Atlanta, where access to fresh, healthy food is not the best, right? I live here with my children, and it just was like horrible. So I said, okay, we're in Atlanta. There's lots of land. Let's just get to it. So I found some people. And that's how I started that journey. And that was 10 years ago. You
Ooh.
know,
Oh,
I know. I mean, I can't even believe it. And I'm actually no longer part of the environmental engineering field, which I'm thoroughly happy about. And I am fully immersed in growing food. And it's like food is like the basic sustenance that we all need to get the energy we need, get the nutrients we need. I mean, like you are what you eat, and food is your medicine. And if you're eating the wrong things, it's going to have a really bad effect on your health and your ability to just be your best self. So I said, you know, I'm going to just attack it at its core and just continue to do that work and share local food, fresh food, healthy food, and also bring awareness to Black farmers, female farmers, and just, you know, the work that we've been doing for centuries, the work that brought us to this country, and the work that will like liberate us from ourselves. So that's
wow.
it.
It's exciting. All right, Yolanda. Let me take her off mute. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself. Oh my Lord. Let me see if I can unmute her. I can't unmute her. Uh-oh. Okay, I can't hear. We can't hear Yolanda. So yeah, you unmute yourself. So while Yolanda is trying to unmute herself, what I'm gonna do is just share with you who I am. I'm Chef Bee. Many people know me in different spaces as Chef Bee, Professor Bee, Bruley, and I kind of straddle. I call it the educational, wellness educational, and the mathematics space. So I am a mathematics professor at a college here in the state of Georgia. And I've been in mathematics education for many years. It's been over 22 years now. Some people they can't believe I've been in higher ed that long. And the work that I've been doing has been around helping young people who have not been able to get access to experiences beyond like basic mathematics, like the calculus courses, so that they can, excel in the STEM fields, have a stronger understanding of mathematics. So that's been the work that I've been doing for a very long time. We call them gateway courses, working with students in gateway courses in higher ed. But then really, I just really have always been passionate about eating well and taking care of myself, and I knew that this was a challenge for many people in our community. And so I started getting into the wellness space myself now, almost like really hardcore, I would say now 10 years. And so I love to cook. I love to just talk to people about things that they could be doing to just be better with their wellness. And now you see Chef Bee. So Chef Bee was born from just all of the work that I've been doing around education, because really being a holistic health coach, chef, all of the things that we do, we're constantly educating. It looks different when not standing in front of a classroom, but I think the patience and the way that you explain things that you develop as a teacher really it kind of just flows into what we do as holistic health coaches, and then also chefs that are actually out in the community doing demos and really trying to educate people on how to eat better. So, and that's the work that I do. All right, so Yolanda.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hi.
you.
Yes. Sorry, you guys had a little technical difficulties, but yeah, I'm Yolanda Owens. I'm the owner of Iwi Fresh Farm to Skin Spa. They call me the skincare chef. And literally, I don't know if a lot of people know what Iwi stands for, but Iwi stands for it is what it is. Because whatever it is, that is truly what it is. We believe in feeding your skin the truth with fresh
Mm,
fruits and vegetables and herbs. And what we do is we partner with local farms. We handpick all the fruits and vegetables. We bring them back to the spa where we juice some and we mix some and we make skincare recipes. And we take those recipes and we apply them to our spa services. So we have veggie mani pedis, veggie facials, herbal massages. And so what that is you can wrap that up and just call it sustainable self-care.
ooh,
And you know, and you guys know how all these different salons that are out here, different nail shops that are out here that are full of toxin. And
Mhm.
before the coronavirus, they was wearing the mask because the toxins and the fumes was actually pouring into our skin. And you guys know that the skin is the largest organ of your body. So, one of the things that I'm really big on is replacing that, replacing these toxin beauty self-care places and replacing them with sustainable self-care. Being able to have a safe place where you can go in and take care of yourself without being contaminated with all type of fumes and toxins. And during this coronavirus time, this is like really just really in tune and right on point for us to really wake up and realize that this air and the environment, the coronavirus, you can catch it, they say 6 feet apart, because you can catch another virus from being too close to someone. And that lets you know that it's pouring into your skin. It's going into the entry point is your skin, which is the largest organ of your body. So, guys, this is a wake-up call for all of us to realize how important what we put on our skin is infecting our bodies. And for me, my journey started years ago when I was probably about 7 years old with my grandmother, who had a garden, and she would have a garden where she would take everything from her garden to heal the whole family. She made all kind of concoctions, and that's kind of where I realized the power of fruits and vegetables and herbs. And
Mhm.
so I learned that concept. I learned that concept through that. And then fast forward, I graduated. I was like Jamila. I went and got a engineering degree and became an engineer, computer engineer.
Mhm.
And through the engineering degree, I worked in corporate America, went into that path and thought that was what I wanted to do. But I realized that there was more to me than that. I realized that, I had an awakening to wellness. And I realized that I had to heal me first. And that's when I decided to leave the corporate scene and start Eat Refresh and start this journey of sustainable self-care. And through this time, it's funny because I've had several awakenings to wellness through this journey. And even through E-Refresh, I've been doing E-Refresh for about 13, 14 years now. We've been in Castleberry for 12. Um, I've learned a lot and the power of the skin and how we have to take care of it. And even through this journey, one day I woke up and found myself to another awakening to wellness. Found out that I was diagnosed with cancer, and realized even more that I had to heal myself first. The healing of me first was so more profound. And so my journey just evolves and evolves on the awakening of wellness. And so now I'm opening up a wellness center. I'm opening up an E-Refresh Farm Oasis, which is a healing center. And it was before I was diagnosed. And so this was just a confirmation to know that I was walking in the right journey of healing. And so it's like Jamila said, I'm really passionate about sharing my journey, my testimony, and my education to us, what I'm saying, to my community. Because I
Mhm.
think as a community, we don't understand, we don't know, and we take it for granted. We take our skin for granted. We don't realize what's really happening with our bodies. So, I can go on and on, but that's a little bit of my awakening to wellness and who I am.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you all are here. Let me just say, for those of you guys who are watching this right now, I'm just getting so emotional. I love each and every one of these women here. They're very powerful women. Please share this live stream out to your networks, on your timelines, because there's someone who needs this information, period. There's someone who is fighting their healing journey. There's someone who needs to know what they can do to be better, even if it's just the awareness. Wow, I can connect to this person because their experience is very similar to mine, so that they can make those connections. So I'm just so overjoyed that all of you guys are joining. We have Ornike who's joining us. We have Mama Ikena who's joining us. Moyen. We got folks from all over the country coming on here. Adrian joining us. So please make sure that you guys share this out. Greetings to Weta. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so what we want to now do is just kind of go in order and just kind of talk a little bit about y'all's, like, what was it? What was that transformational experience that each of you had that really cemented this work for you? And I know that that changes over time, but what was that thing? What did you experience that you're like, you know what, this is it. I know I'm in the right space. I'm doing this work. I'm right on point. I'm in alignment. Mama Sandela, you want to start first?
Sure, absolutely. So, as mentioned, I went into nursing 30 years ago because I had a desire to help people. I grew up in Charleston in the 70s, 60s, 70s, where it was such a close community. My relatives, we really looked out for each other. It was a village. And I guess that was so impactful for me, just watching the way that my family and others in the community really supported each other. I remember my mother, I call it dragging. Of course, I appreciate it now, dragging us behind her to help our elderly relatives or buy food for another, but I think for me, that started my journey into wanting to really impact people's lives and help them to be healthier. So, which is one of the reasons I went into nursing. However, after I got into nursing, it was really an awakening for me because just the exposure to the amount of dis-ease and the many conditions that people were experiencing was just eye-opening. But I went in to help other people, and fortunately at this point, I didn't take care of myself. Compassion fatigue was real for me. I wanted to be there for my patients. I remember wanting to go in on the weekends, work extra days. And not only that, oftentimes as a nurse too, you might be a mother, a wife, and have other responsibilities as well. So I had all of this on my plate and I wanted to be there for everybody. However, the person that I left out of that formula was myself. So I was so busy. I was a few years into my nursing career, had a family, a dance studio, a shop selling African arts and crafts, and I really wanted to do it all. That superwoman. I wanted to be there for everybody. And years into doing that, unfortunately, I suffered. My body I would crash, as I would call it. I started experiencing so many symptoms that I just couldn't believe. I didn't know where it was coming from. And I was extremely ill. And I remember going from doctor to doctor, and all of them saying to me, nothing is wrong with you. And here I am, a nurse, thinking that, okay, I know what needs to be done, but I wasn't doing it for myself. I wasn't eating properly. I would eat on the go. I would sleep 2 or 3 hours a night to get up and go work as a nurse again, take care of my family. And I just wasn't doing the things that I needed to do to take care of myself. Didn't recognize the value of taking care of yourself first so that you could be there to take care of others. So eventually what the doctor said to me was, you're depressed. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm really not depressed. That's not what I'm experiencing. I feel really ill. And I really was having all of these symptoms. It's just that it didn't show up on any of the tests, any of the blood work, or anything like that. And that taught me a lot about healthcare at that time. I learned a lot about it. You don't always, those symptoms may not always manifest on the test, but your body is telling you something. It's trying to awaken you. So, so I heard it. I said, okay, I'm not depressed. Something is going on. What do I need to do? And I was fortunate enough to have some supportive family members around me who said to me, you need to take better care of yourself. We're going to take you in and help you take better care of yourself. And I remember them digging up dandelion out of the backyard, boiling it for me, and drinking dandelion tea, among other things. And then I connected with other holistic practitioners who said to me, "You burn yourself out. You burned out your adrenal glands, among other things, from not taking care of yourself." Here I am, the nurse, thinking I know what it takes to take care of someone, but not myself. And so I had to get real with myself and say, do you want to live? Do you want to go down this path of who knows where? So I started this journey to wellness, I call it, where I had to look at my physical, mental, and emotional health and make those things a priority. What do I need to do physically? What do I need to do mentally and emotionally so I'm in a good place so that I can then be better for my patients and my family? And so I read every book I could find, went to every workshop I could find. Any health practitioner that was talking about health and wellness from a holistic place, I would listen to them. So I took in all this information, and that was really what I feel like saved my life. And I was able to turn my life around, eating better, sleeping better, participating in activities to um, manage the stress or manage your emotional health. And I feel like I'm in a good place, and I love the opportunity to share my experience and all the things that I've learned along the way to my journey to wellness with others.
Beautiful. Right. Wow. And we have so many healthcare practitioners out there, healers out there that we want to support the world and in us wanting to do the work because we're so excited and we're so vested that we do forget to really look inward. Okay, what do I need to be doing on a daily basis? Because it can get away from you very easily, right? It can get away from you very, very easily. All right, Jamila.
Hey, okay. Well, that was an amazing, amazing transformational story. My awakening to wellness. I would say definitely a different path, I guess, than most, or maybe not, whatever. Um, I believe I was fortunate enough, right, to have family, my parents. I call them kind of hippies back in the 70s. Like we were vegan, vegetarian, health and wellness, all natural, just kind of like had that upbringing like my whole life, my whole existence. Uh Grew up in New York from Caribbean family. So my mom is from Jamaica, my dad is from Trinidad, and I lived in Trinidad for a couple of years as a child. And my mom also grew up, my parents both grew up with their grandparents, with their parents, just like in the mountains in their respective countries. And so they essentially are surrounded by the food that they need. They're surrounded by the medicine that they need. And that is sort of like, that is how they grew up. They tell stories all the time, especially my mom, of just being able to you need some healing, like you go out and you get this kind of bush tea, or you heal yourself with this, that, and the other. So that was just in their upbringing, and that's something that they passed on to us as children. And so when we moved to Georgia, and so living in New York, and you're surrounded by communities of Caribbean people, and everybody's still practicing the same thing, even though we're now in this concrete jungle, right? And so my focus as a child was more on like environmental stuff, right? Because like I feel like we were kind of, I was in an environment of health and wellness when it relates to at least food, and medicine. But then sort of like the environmental stressors of pollution and noise and just all that stuff that you experience in the city, that's where like my focus and my vision as a child was. So I was watching like Captain Planet, the cartoon. And I used to just kind of like love all of these, shows about like, engineering our way into a better future and things like that. And so when I moved to the South, the sort of like, I think we moved to Atlanta back in like 92, 93. And, the diet was very different, and we kind of as a family sort of like took part of that diet, and it just like had a really like, I just wasn't feeling this. So when I got to college, I made a decision like I'm just gonna go back vegetarian. Like I just know what worked, and I'm just gonna go back there, and I've just been like vegetarian ever since. Entered environmental engineering, and again was doing the work that I was doing in like, doing work in environmental engineering with water pollution, air pollution, things like that, working for the state. And that's when I really got sort of like, that's where it solidified the effects of what was happening in the environment to our health. And just then getting exposure to sort of like all the health disparities in our community, and just realizing like, people of color are just kind of like suffering from so many diet related diseases, whether that be diabetes and hypertension. And then, there were environmental things, but that there are a lot in what we eat, how we take care of ourselves, what we put in our bodies, that can really help to alleviate a lot of these conditions if we're really intentional. And then just looking at how society has structured our communities to make access to fresh food and just sort of like the basic things that you need every single day, clean water, fresh food, all of that. Just realizing that for a lot of people, they know what they need to do, but access to it is really a challenge,
Yeah.
And so in raising my family over in Southwest Atlanta, I'm driving across the city to go to the better Kroger to even just try to get organic fruits and vegetables, or just get good options, or, and I'm like, this is ridiculous that I have to leave my community and go access things that everybody in every community should have access to. So 2010, I started farming. I was still engineering at the time, and I started farming. And so that's really sort of like, it's just like a synergy of all that information, and just like awareness of like how our society and how our neighborhoods and the access to like what we need and how that's structured and limited in our communities, especially communities of color and poor communities. And just being like, what can I do to be, part of the solution? I mean, I can try to like call Kroger and try to have them get good food, or I can go out and grow that myself. And my work really started as, let me just grow for my family and sort of like immediate community. And it just grew from there. And then, the farm kind of got bigger and it got away from me. And then, I had so much, and then it was like, let's go to market. So it just sort of like unfolded. I had, there wasn't any paper, anything written down as in terms of like a specific, like, and this is my action plan. Like literally it's just unfolding. And then next thing I know, I'm an urban farmer, you know, and yeah, and I mean, it has just, I like I said, I've been doing this work for about 10 years, and I have seen people like, you know, start their families. They're halfway into like, their kids are growing, and just seeing the transformation, and just seeing like what effect that food has on their families, on their health, really just experiencing and just sort of like bringing awareness to farmers and Black farmers in general and what that looks like. And then also just getting um just seeing people like, now that they see themselves in this sort of like work in agriculture, in organic food, in health and wellness, they see someone that looks like them, then they're a lot more like, they're interested. So I mean, I'm getting so much feedback from the community. Okay, well, I want to start a garden. Well, I got this growing, or what should I do, and how should we eat? And so that led to like a bunch of stuff that me and Chef Bee do together in terms of like educating people around and just creating experiences for people to consume fresh, healthy, nutritious food in its raw state, in its lightly cooked state, just trying to get people to like just incorporate a lot more fruits and vegetables into their diet. And so and Chef Bee brought me into sort of like the raw food world, because I wasn't even child, I wasn't even there, and then and so I mean it's just a love of food, an understanding of like health and wellness, and just like really wanting to share with people as much as I can what I know to be like really impactful at its core. And it's like we eat every single day, right? We eat every day, and the purpose of food is to give us the energy that we need so our bodies can do what it needs to do, so that we can live in this world and be whole and healthy and all. And so I just want to do my part to to make that available to people. So that's me.
All right, Yolanda.
That was great. Great stuff. Yeah, for
Yolanda.
me, as I mentioned earlier, I've had several awakenings to wellness. And what I've learned is that you keep on living, you're going to have a lot of awakenings to wellness. And it just takes you
Mhm.
deeper and more open. It becomes deeper. You think, okay, well, I'm eating right. I'm doing all the skincare products right. I'm
Mhm.
doing all these healthy things, and then bam, all of a sudden I wake up in the emergency room
Mhm.
and they're cutting me open. They tell me, the doctor comes and says, ma'am, you have a tumor and it's cancer. I'm like, wow.
Mhm.
And, that was 8 months ago in
Mhm.
my life. And you're like, okay, all
Mhm.
righty. So what is this all about?
Mhm.
And what I learned in that particular journey of awakeness to wellness was, eating right. I mean, eating right, you got to take care of the whole body.
Mhm.
But I feel that as Black women, what I learned was that inner peace, going back and releasing a lot of luggages and a lot of carry weight that we carry on. That's not good for our health. That's part of wellness. Being able to let go of forgiveness. I had to go in and do some radical for forgiveness, go way back. Didn't even know that I had to do that. But there was some luggage that I had been carrying on, and I had to go and I had to deal with it. And I had to do some forgiveness, some real radicalness of forgiveness. And I learned that I feel like that was a healing piece for me. That was a power of healing for me. And I've learned in this journey too that the tribe, the people you surround yourself with, having a lot of people, like you said, who are in the wellness and in the healing community. I mean, like Chef Bee and Farmer J, just everybody, that when I was going through this, I didn't have to go far. They were right already in my tribe. And they were like, Yolanda, go to here, do this, get that. Here, I had all type of healing tools all around me because of the people that I had already surrounded myself with. So I learned that is a very power, and that's another awakening to wellness, is making sure that you surround yourself around some really good people that already are living wellness, and believe in the power of healing. I learned a lot about the whole Western medicine. That's a whole nother chapter. But I found that that's not the way to go. It was really going back to wellness and really here, coming back to me, and I realized I had the power to heal myself. And so it was just a beautiful thing. And I say to people that, take care of the whole body, but also take care of the inner peace as well. Make sure you go and you go deep and you go into and find time. I mean, spending time with nature is beautiful for me. Walking outside and spending time with nature, and just being able to let be forgiveness. Go back and let that forgiveness go. I think you got to be able to do that and be grateful. That was my other thing. It's just gratitude on every level, everything, everything, everything. So that is my journey.
And I love how you say that different layers, different levels. As long as you're living, you're going to see the healing journey manifest,
Yes.
morph and change and look
Yes.
differently as long as you are here, right?
As long as you're here, and you never know, you never know. But I think as long as you taking care of the temple, outer and inner, and surrounding yourself around great people, that you can be ready for it. Yeah, because you
Yes.
never know when it's coming. You never
Isn't
know.
that true? Isn't that true? We just never know. So, it's so interesting that you talked about, just being diagnosed with cancer. For me, one of the things that I've struggled for many, many years with is hypertension. And, I don't eat bad. I don't eat a bunch of salt. I think people have their views about what they think hypertension is and how you get it, right? And some people, they're more sensitive to stress. And stress is not always bad stress, right? So let's be clear about that. Stress is just your body's interpreting it as stress, but it's just excitement. So, doing too much, maybe, you're excited about all the things that you're doing, but your body's interpreting that as stress. So, this is something that, I've struggled with for a long time and definitely wanting to address it from a holistic standpoint. And so I'm grateful for my doctor because, when you go to a conventional doctor, what they'll do is they'll definitely try to throw a bunch of medication at you. But there are natural ways that you can address this, right? And so one of the things that for me was an awaken to wellness experience was when I actually had my second son, Kweku. And I talk about that in the book. So I'll just kind of share a little bit about it. When I left graduate school um, in 2006, it was a very stressful time, as you guys can imagine who's watching. You're in school, you're older, you're trying to manage your family, you're trying to manage your life, new job, new baby. It's just a lot going on. And so, with that, not eating correctly, trying to manage the stress and the balancing of all of those different responsibilities really took my blood pressure to a whole nother high. And then also, I had a lot more weight on me than I currently do. And so, for me, I went to a conventional doctor at the time and they're like, you got to lose the weight, which was easy for me. And so I was doing the work of losing the weight, but the blood pressure wasn't changing. So I'm like, well, what's going on? Well, what I realized was there was all of these stressors happening. And because we had those stressors happening, we had to eliminate those stressors. So over time, things balanced itself out and we were able to do so to balance everything out. So at that time, I had one child. And when I actually had my first son, I had a cesarean section. And unfortunately, when you have a cesarean the first time, they really kind of push you to a cesarean if you have any more children. So my second child, when I got pregnant, I was in my 40s. Uh, they were like, well, you are high risk. And I was like, what? High risk? What does that mean? They said, well, you're definitely going to have to get a cesarean. And I'm like, what? Why? They're like, because you're high risk, you're older, this has happened before, you've had blood pressure issues, all of that. So one of the things that I talk about in the book is when you change everything, it changes everything, right? And in changing everything, that meant the way I was thinking, that meant reducing all of the stressors, that meant changing the foods that I was eating, that meant just really having a completely different birth experience and envisioning a completely birth experience than I had before. Okay. And so that was the journey. The journey was to not have a cesarean, even though all the doctors we had gone to had said otherwise. The goal was to maybe even do a home birth, but at the very least, not get cut. That was the goal. And I'm telling you guys, you can do it. I changed my diet. I became plant-based with vigilance, using herbs, spirituality, getting readings, getting spiritual baths, really just eliminating a lot of things that I just didn't need to do, but just being at home and having a baby and growing a baby, a healthy baby. And, I'm happy to say that by doing those changes, I was able to have a vaginal birth at 42. So I'm very proud to say that, because a lot of people don't realize that it is possible, and the importance of getting the right team in place when you're trying to do something that's considered radical. You need to have the right people in place that's not saying no, 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 trying to be overly cautious, but okay, let's see how we can support you in making this thing happen. And I was so grateful. I mean, we had gone to several different doctors until we found one that was all about doing vaginal births, and also was I think, what would you call them, a periodontologist? I hope I'm saying the right word, where they work with quote unquote high risk pregnancies, women who have babies older in life. And it was an absolutely beautiful experience. And for me, that cemented my knowing and my work in this area. I was like, yo, I know that plant-based foods can heal anything if you do it long enough. I know that spirituality can heal anything if you do it long enough. I know that drinking your water and listening to your team is telling you slow down. No, you're not going to do that. But changing all of those things and really incorporating them into your life can really make the difference. And so for me, like, I know that, that's what cemented me in becoming a health coach, a lifestyle medicine health coach, because really what I'm learning too is it's not just one thing, y'all. It's so many different things that we have to do ongoing. All right. Ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can really get to the place where you are, seeing the results that you want to see. If you tell me, oh, I drank a bunch of water today, I'm like, great, that's awesome. But did you do these other things? Did you meditate today? Did you take a moment to breathe? Like right before this live, y'all, I was like, you know what? I'm really feeling the need to lay down. So just listening to myself, taking deep breaths, because I get excited and I want to do a good job, all of these things. But then it takes a toll on my body, and so I think we all need to really be honest about who we are, what we need, what we can do, what we can't do, and really try to interrogate the things that are not shifting. So you might be good in these other spaces, but if there's some things that are off, okay, why are they off? What else can I be doing to balance myself? What else can I be doing to find that equilibrium or that homeostasis that we talk about? And so this is the work. It's ongoing. It's not stubbornness. It's not saying no, I'm not going to do it. It's not turning left when you really should be looking right. It's really looking holistically at yourself. And I'm learning so much, even now, like the things that trigger me, get me upset, and I think that we all need to do that work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's me.
Yep, that's us.
me. That's us. So I'm curious, ladies. With all of this COVID-19, happening, what kinds of things are you guys doing? And many of us, we're all in Atlanta, so we know that New York has been hit the hardest. We're talking, gosh, hundreds of thousands of people. I think it was 184,000 positive cases, and that's not even all of them, right? In Atlanta, I think it's around 11,000 cases thus far. I looked at the CDC site either last night or this morning. So I'm wondering, particularly Mama Sandela, the fact that you do work with patients and, what kinds of things do you do daily, your daily rituals to support your healing and support you just being fortified with what you need to do on a daily basis, because you got to interact with people. Hold on.
I said that.
There you go.
All right. So, we're living in unprecedented times. This is not something I've ever experienced. Many of us have ever experienced in our lifetime. And I am talking to patients every day, and people are scared. They're really anxious, they're depressed, they're having anxiety attacks, and understandably so. It's quite scary. I talk about resiliency a lot. That's one of the things that I do at work is I'm part of a resiliency team and helping to share activities with my teammates, my colleagues, so that we can stay resilient. And so, and that's one, and I try to approach this holistically. Holistically, I think that's important. We can't separate; they're interconnected. So, for myself, I have to use a I found that using a more balanced approach to what I'm doing is important. On a physical level, movement is important, keeping your body nourished and taking in oxygen. Movement is what that does. It allows you to oxygenate your tissues. That's important, part of keeping your body healthy. Um, I have to look at keeping my mind stimulated in a positive way, taking in positive messages, saying affirmations to myself. One of the things I like to do is I take breaks during the day. I think that's important. I think you touched on that. This isn't a one-time thing or a one activity where you drink water and you're done. I constantly implementing certain activities during the day. Wellness is a practice. And so I sit outside in the sun sometimes. For me, that's very healing and nurturing. I love sitting in the sun and feeling the fresh breeze. I still go for walks. Of course, I'm practicing social distancing. I'm lucky where I'm in an area where I'm not seeing a lot of people. So walking is important. Deep breathing. My regular routine in the morning is get up, be grateful. Gratitude is important. Having a gratitude journal helps. Deep breaths, meditation, and stretching exercises. And that's for me what's important. Having a self plan where you're intentional is important. That you're writing down, that you're making a commitment to certain activities, because it's not a one and done thing. And these activities, that self care activities, take time for your body to adjust to them. So if you do them one time, yes, it may help in that moment, but longevity is key, practicing these activities over and over again. So that's how I start my day. And I make sure that if not every hour, just about every hour, that I'm doing some type of resiliency activity. I keep my weights by my desk during the day. I might stop and take a moment and just lift weights. I focus. One other thing that we've done, that I've done with my team at work, is what I call the happy bag. Keep a bag of pictures. I've cut out some pictures from a magazine of activities and things that bring me joy. So when I need a moment, I can open my happy bag and look at my pictures or other things that bring me joy, because that's where it's about. And it's okay to experience other emotions. That's normal. That's a part of life. That's what I share with my patients. It's normal to feel anxiety. Now, to stay there would be the issue. So that's where those resiliency or self-care activities are so important, that you're gonna nourish yourself so that you can bring yourself back to that place of joy.
Yeah.
I could go on all day. Meals, I went vegetarian for about 15 years, and I found that, this is a long story, but just to keep it brief, working with other health practitioners, I may introduce a little meat maybe once a month or so, because of, some other things that are going on. But there's just so many things on an emotional level, spiritual level, professionally, making sure that you're involved in work that you do, which is what I've done. I've like cut out the things that are not bringing me joy. I cut those things out. I have to focus on the things that are bringing me joy professionally, emotionally, spiritually, and, just totally involved in things that are bringing me joy, and saying no to things that aren't.
Yeah. Ashe. How about you, Jamila?
Yeah. So for me, definitely just kind of going back to, so yeah, in this time, I am again, I'm a essential activity, so I'm out here, I'm growing food, getting fresh food to people. So I'm thankful that the farm is not something that I'm having to interact with a whole lot of people. So I get to go to the farm. It is my healing. It is my outdoor. It is my sun time. It is my physical activity. And, I'm also producing some really good food. I do that organically. So no pesticides, no herbicides, anything like that. So also limiting, any kind of environmental exposure to toxins to myself, to the people that are there on the farm, and also to the environment. What has shifted for a lot of us in the farmers market scene, which is how I normally sell my vegetables, is that we've gone to a model of what we call a pickup market. So we shifted all the sales online, and then people just come and they pick up. And so that's helping to sort of like maintain that social distancing while people are still able to get their fresh fruits and vegetables, which, I'm so overjoyed by the fact that people really see right now, even more so than they have in the past, sort of like the importance of getting fresh, healthy, fresh fruits and vegetables. And I think they're also using it as an opportunity to kind of like get out of their house and go get what they need, but not having to go into places that are congested and so it's outdoors, it's still outdoors, still at the locations, but you're just going, you're picking up, you're supporting locally. So that's been really good. Personally, I live and die by tea in my house. I mean, all the herbal teas. My children, mommy, my stomach is hurting. I'm like, did you drink some tea today? Go drink some ginger tea. Drink some peppermint tea. I mean, that's just like Caribbean upbringing. I mean, and that's really, when you think about, those are just herbal infusions, of this, that, and the other. And you just know over time with exposure, kind of like what things help with what, ailments, or what's good for, whatever. So lots of warm drinks. I mean, hot lemon or lime water every morning, tea all day long when I can, lots and lots and lots of citrus, and just, taking things seriously, because we don't know. This is new. We don't know a lot about this virus, and just erring on the side of caution. So, I'm wearing my mask when I'm out interacting with people, just doing my best to stay clean and fresh. And one of the things that I've also been doing, because one of the things that people don't understand why it's important to go outside, is because indoor air quality, the air in your home, can be way more toxic than the air outside. And the reason for that is that it's enclosed. It's an enclosed environment. The windows are closed, the doors are closed. Remember, people used to have I remember Sunday cleaning used to involve opening up the windows and airing out the house. But people don't really do that anymore. So you really should, as much as you can, get open up the doors and windows, try to get air going. I know for some people, they do have seasonal allergies, so that might be an issue. But one of the things I have done to sort of like purify the air in my house is like I'll simmer a pot of like rosemary or eucalyptus in a pot of water and just like have that simmer in. Or you can do like an essential oil diffuser of rosemary or eucalyptus, and that helps to sort of like kind of like purify your air, kill any viruses, things like that in the air. So those kind of activities, just as much that you can incorporate to just nourish. And I know there's a lot of also, like Yolanda touched on it, like you can be eating good, meditating every day, running, all of that. But if you're not paying attention to your mental and the amount of stress that you take on, whether that be being a mom, being a girlfriend or a wife or a husband or whatever, and now, everybody's like, oh, we're sitting at home. So everybody should have started a business selling everything. And they just, all this need to constantly produce. This could be actually a good time for us to rest, because when do you really get a chance to just sort of like rest and take care of yourself? So as much as you can, rest. There are times where I'm like, you know what? Today I'm not really going to be that productive, because what is productive for me is like my body is like, we're tired, and like sitting down with a cup of tea and probably falling asleep.
With her
You
cup
know
of
what I
tea.
mean? With a cup of tea, always with a cup of tea. Like there's teacups all over this house. I'm like, okay, I gotta do some dishes, put these teacups up because I need a whole nother round for next week. Um, but yeah, I mean, but it's like, it's warm beverages. It's really good. That's really what it is. Like, you just want to get warm herbal beverages just through your body, things like that. But yeah, I mean, so don't feel the need to have to constantly produce, and kind of like check away from a lot of your electronic screens and things like that. Your phone, put it down for a little bit. There's like radiation, electromagnetic radiation that comes through your phones and your laptops and your TVs. I mean, if you flip it over and read the back of it, there's an FCC warning. It tells you. I mean, this is not, you know, that's how that information, that's how that technology works. So take a break from it, kind of be away from it for a little bit and just get fresh air, take care of yourself. And as much as you can, just like limit the stress in your life. And that was something that I kind of had to like, I mean, I went to there's this institute here in Atlanta. I think it's they're like a holistic institute somewhere downtown, but they came to the farmers market. This is a quick little, maybe my little awakening to wellness, healing me fresh girl. I was all the way upset, right? So they came to the farmers market and they were offering free kind of like bio surveys of your whole body, right? And they're like a chiropractic clinic. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna get me a free one. I went up in there and they hooked me up and did the little thing. And the lady came and she was like, your stress level is just, and I was like, who are you talking to? I do yoga every day. I am chill. I'm eating good. I literally was like on the verge of tears. And I was just like, I'm doing all the right things.
Mm-hmm.
But then a whole lot also, you know what I mean? Like, I was still an engineer. I was still farming, kids, all the other businesses that I started on the side. I mean, I was doing a lot, and like my stress level, then I had some little hair loss happening, and I was like, okay, y'all, you got to pause. Okay. Like on the surface, you're looking healthy and fit and trim, but like you taking on too much stress. And she was like, well, you probably deal with it well, but it doesn't mean that you're not experiencing it.
Yeah.
And so that was the thing that just kind of was like, all right, I got to pause and I got to figure out what's going on and like adjust life a little bit. And so, that need to always be producing and to like be part of this, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, and don't be hard on yourself. So anyways, that's me.
So I wanted you guys to know there's some comments here. Angela Kudger, actually the person who helped to compile this book, she's on, and she said she just left the farmers market, and I've never seen people with so many carts full of fresh produce, and she almost cried. So that was amazing. She also said we open our doors and windows daily, all the time, year round. Stress can definitely still happen. I'll have one of those days tomorrow. I can't wait. Remote plus fluffy robe. That's you, Jamila. Relaxation for me.
Fluffy robe. I got 5 of them. I wear them all the time. My robe with a cup of tea.
And don't forget those Bluetooth speakers. So you guys were talking about EMF radiation. Oftentimes people don't remember that the Bluetooth speakers and the earbuds are also that's right in your person.
Yeah.
And she said those machines, the one that you had, the bio service, she said those machines say everyone is falling apart.
Oh, okay. Girl, I was
like yeah, I mean, I use a machine when I do my essential oil readings, and there's usually something that everyone needs to work on. I mean, that's how you look at it. Right. Everyone needs to work on something. Something's always a little bit out of balance. Yeah. How about you, Yolanda? What about you? Uh-oh, can she hear me? Unmute your mic, Yolanda.
Look at Yolanda's like, uh-oh.
I don't know. Can you hear us, Yolanda? You good?
Yolanda's mobile, so that's what's going on.
Yolanda, can you hear us?
On point.
All right, Yolanda.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So what kinds of things are you doing daily to support your wellness and your healing in lieu of this diagnosis?
Oh, Lordy. Y'all can't hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah, turn up your speaker.
There's a delay.
Y'all can't hear me?
We
Oh,
can hear you.
oh boy. All
Log
right.
out, cut it out, and then come back.
Yeah. Come back in.
Go and then
So
come back in.
yes. So I'll just go because yeah, she's having some technical issues today with her speaker. So y'all, for me, one of the things that I like to do, and thank you, Jamila, for this. I do yoga every day. Jamila and I are actually doing a yoga program daily. And it's been amazing. It's been absolutely wonderful just being able to get up and move and not have to worry about, well, what does the workout look like? You move for 60 minutes, you are stretching out your muscles, and then you have an opportunity to breathe and to just really pour into yourself. I think that's probably one of the most important things for me. I always tell my family, I'm like, look, I got to take care of me first because I know by a certain time of the day, if this doesn't come into play, if I haven't done the things that I need to do for me, it's not going to get done. And I'm going to feel bad about it. I'm not going to have a productive day. So I'll get up a little bit early before everybody just so that I can get the things that are important to me in on a daily basis. And everyone's not happy about that because they want my time, but I have to pour into me. As they say, you give everyone else the overflow, right? But you got to make sure that you're filling up your cup. For me, also, I do warm water. So I love how you talked about warm liquids. So I do warm water with lemon juice. I use some peppermint essential oil in there, some cayenne pepper, just so that I can, keep things moving. Things don't stick around if it's too hot, you know? So I really enjoy doing that. It tastes good. It refreshes your body. And it also, satiates your appetite. So I don't feel like I'm eating, I don't want to eat the wrong thing. So I've noticed too that with all this going on, the desire to eat candy, the desire to have ice cream, the desire to do things that are not serving me well, it's not there. I really just want to put myself and my family in a position of wellness and keep us there. So definitely a lot of good grown food. So, we started a garden. And so the things that we don't grow, we get it from Farmer J. And, I'll say this to everyone else, it's very
Right.
healing when you know where your food is coming from. It's very healing. When I know that I can go talk to my farmer or talk to my grower, or even if I could go to my backyard and pick
That's
something that I produced myself, it's like no feeling like that in the world. Because when you go to the market, you just have no clue where it actually came from, and just being really mindful about, sanitizing, washing my hands, eating properly, taking my supplements. I think also if you live in urban environments, you have to supplement. And people don't talk a lot about that, but you need to get your zinc,
yeah.
you need to get vitamin C, you need to get your vitamin D. And for those of you who might be looking at this live stream and you cannot get out of the house for 30 minutes, an hour, because you are really sort of staying in, you can do vitamin D supplements. You can do that. But it's so important to get those nutrients any way possible, any way you possibly can. And
Yeah.
so I think, once again, we just have to think about, okay, well, what do I need to do today? And then
I
actually
agree.
do it. Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yolanda, you back?
Yeah, I heard her.
Yolanda, you back?
Can
Wait a
y'all hear
minute.
me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Yay.
You
Yay.
Okay,
back.
good,
We can hear
good,
you.
good. So,
So what
for
kinds of things are
me,
you
it's
doing
all
daily?
for me, it's about taking it back to the basics. Going back to the basics. Can y'all
Hmm.
hear
Mhm.
me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things that is so interesting to me that I really like to bring awareness to everybody is about the skin and how this organ and it absorbs. So one of the things that's happening is the hairs, the the lifestyle that we're doing, I guess so-called be clean, is really toxifying us even more. And I mean, and I'm like,
Mm.
it's scary because it's like we're using it even at a higher rate than normal. You know, we're using more hand sanitizer than ever, which is a lot of alcohol and is absorbing into our skin. I mean, they said Clorox was off the shelf. I mean, I've heard Black people talk about they've been bathing with Clorox. They've been, I mean, you know, the houses were smelling like Clorox. Everybody's
Mm.
spraying Clorox everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to keep it clean, and it's toxin. It's toxin. The Lysols, those aerosol can sprays, all that stuff is very toxin for us. And so, you know, there's got to be a point that we got to go back to the basics and go back to grandma's recipes, start using lemon and baking soda and vinegar
Mm.
and all these different natural remedies that we used way back in the day to keep our houses, keep our bodies, keep everything clean. And that's really what we gotta watch out, because that's kind of like a hidden little, a deadly little thing that's coming around the corner that we don't see,
Mm.
because we're so busy trying to be clean that we don't realize what we're putting on our skin is causing another type of illness, you know.
Mm.
So, you know, that's one of my things that I've been really been going back and creating all type of, I'm having fun creating all these household recipes, you
Yeah.
know, with lemon, and that baking soda is awesome. Baking soda and aloe, and just using all rosemary, using all type of home
Mm.
remedies, and creating and realizing how you don't need all the, we've been sold that we need all these other chemicals to clean, and we really don't. You know,
Mm.
Yeah.
so that's what I've been doing. I've been just having a good time on going back to the basics. You know, as she
Mhm.
stated, sitting outside getting that vitamin D, very critical for us as Black women. What I have learned in my awakening to wellness too is that vitamin D, you know, for Black women, we, you know, vitamin
We
D
got a
is so
delay.
critical for us. It's critical for us. Did y'all get that?
Yeah,
Yes, it's
we got
critical for us.
Yes. And so, I've been just really taking this time to go in a deeper dive of just taking it back to the basics, going back to the simplicity of life. Can y'all hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Can
Hmm.
y'all, I
Yep.
guess y'all
We
can.
hear
Simplicity
Y'all
of
hear me?
life.
we can hear
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
Yes, we can hear
the
you. Yes,
simplicity
you're
for me.
good.
And I have learned too that like you said, it doesn't take all. We used to think that we had to just hit the pound running and doing and going and going and going. And I'm learning it's the path of least resistance. It's really about just simplicity, easy going, easy like Sunday morning, just chilling,
Mhm.
really just chilling, manifesting and knowing that it's all going to happen. And I think manifesting it internally and not actually feeling like we have to do the action to it, you
Mm.
know. I'm learning that that is really what manages my stress. That's what gives me a very simple and fun and easy and peaceful life, you know. And so that's what I've been doing during this time of the coronavirus is really. And the one other thing that I want to give everybody a skin tip is that, you know, during this time, Chef, she was saying, like, we're farmer was saying, like, when we're in the house, you know, our skin is drying out. So one of the
Hmm.
things that happens is that when we have dry skin, you're prone to more accepting more type of viruses or things that are coming to you. So keeping that skin moisture, because cracked skins, you know, things can trap into your cracks of skins. So
Mm.
if it's dry, so you want to keep your skin moisturized. You want to definitely hydrate that skin during this time. And that's through moisturizer, through steams, you know, taking hot steams and moisturizing,
Mm.
drinking a lot of water, but be very careful of dry skin, making your skin very moisture during this time. Make sure you do that. And the other thing too is just, you know, remember, like, everything we touch, like, we're touching those masks, we're putting the mask on, and then we're taking the mask off, and we're going out. We have to really make sure that we don't cross contaminate ourselves. So you have to be
Mm.
very careful of how you're touching everything. I know everybody's so used to touching their face, but
Mhm.
this is just one of those times that we have to be very conscious of not touching our
Mhm.
face,
Mhm.
and being very mindful that the skin, remember the skin is powerful. And this is why we're getting the virus, because it's through our skin that is coming through and is getting into our body. So remember that. So my thing is going back to the basics, going back to grandma's days.
Good old soap and water.
Good old soap and water. Yeah. So we
Just
got some
plain old
comments
water,
here.
not even soap, just water.
Just the water, right?
Yeah,
Just
Just
the
the
yeah,
water.
water.
that too.
Yes.
Water.
Because now the soaps are contaminated.
Yeah,
The soaps have chemicals in them. I mean,
that's true.
they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
So we
think
Yes,
have
you
this,
some
already.
comments here. We have someone that says, where is it? It says, things have certainly changed for many people. We know when people eat well, they have clear thoughts and easily manifest higher vibrations. I'm so proud to see so many people taking better care of themselves. So,
Yeah.
in
yes.
light of all that we're saying, there are people who are moving in a panic kind of
Yeah.
movement, but then
Yeah.
there are people who are really using this time to now ask questions and to find out who they can bring on their team and what kinds of things they can do to be better. So the camp is not all the way left, right? We do
Oh
have
no.
people who are
Right.
like, wow, this is the opportunity. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to bring more plants in my life. I'm trying to detox. I'm trying. So if they weren't doing it before, there's so many people who are having their awakening to wellness as a result of COVID-19.
Absolutely.
And we're
Yeah,
so
Absolutely.
grateful for that.
absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
grateful for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also
Absolutely.
another statement: vitamin D, calcium, zinc, and magnesium. We need them all
Yes.
together so that they will work well. Yes. So
Absolutely.
if some of you who are listening don't know, there are different vitamins and minerals that are actually best when taken together. And so,
Yes.
for example, vitamin D, like, and even sort of the time of the day that you take them. So vitamin D, from my understanding, is best when you take it before bed.
Yes.
It just works through your body a lot better. So vitamin D, calcium, zinc, and magnesium are those that should be taken together, and in the evening time, along with others. So please make sure you do your research, for the
Yeah.
different supplements and things that you're taking, because you want to make sure that
Oh,
you're accessing the nutrients, right? You don't want to just be taking all this stuff and then your body's not accessing it, right? You want to make sure that you're spacing things
Yeah.
out throughout the day so that you can access the nutrients that you're trying to get into your system. All right.
yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So, we are past the top of the hour. Jamila, what kinds of things do you have going on that you want people to know about?
Yeah, so what I have going on. Yeah, so if you guys want fresh, healthy farm, like literally when I say fresh, it is harvested the day before you pick it up. And one little just tidbit of information. Fresh produce loses almost 50% of its nutrient value within the first week of it being harvested. So most of the stuff in the grocery store is 2+ weeks old. It's not at its prime. It may look good because just good water can keep
Yeah.
things looking fresh and bouncy, but in terms of like the nutritional content is not as good. So as much as you can do fresh fruits and vegetables, doesn't have to be from me, but just find whoever's close to you. But if you go to patchworkcityfarms.com, I have fresh, healthy produce baskets, seasonal foods that we're harvesting literally out of the farm that week, and that's available every single week. I have a Midtown location and a West End location that you can come and pick up. And so that's something that you guys can plug into. If you are not close, if you're not in the city of Atlanta, maybe you're a little bit further out. If you go to georgiaorganics.org, Georgia Organics website, it's a group that I am on the board of. Georgia Organics. They represent organics farm all over the state. They have what they call a good food guide, and you can go on there and they will show you where the fresh, healthy food options are in your neck of the woods. And so these are all from farmers. Like these are from local organic farmers. So they're not going to tell you what a Kroger is. They're not going to tell you what a farmer's market is. They're going to tell you where the farmers are that you can buy fresh, healthy locally grown organic produce from. And my information is on that list, as well as a bunch of other people. So that's something that I definitely have going on right now that you guys can plug into.
All right. So I actually dropped Patrick City Farms, your website, and Georgia Organics website into the comments for those people who want to grab that information. How about you, Mama Sandella? Anything coming up that you want to share with folks?
Sure. So I have a couple things that I'm involved in. One of them is the dance company. I didn't talk much about that, but Harambe Dance Company, we do offer classes, and everyone's switching the online classes right now since we're not able to get out as much as we would like to or we did in the past. So, movement is essential to help oxygenate those tissues and as well as to our total well-being. We want to keep moving. So look to Harambe Dance Company's page for any upcoming movement activities. And the other thing, as a certified health coach, what I help people do is create a self-care plan that focuses on mental health, physical as well as emotional health, and putting together a plan that works for you. As we've talked about, that plan is going to look different for everybody. But there's some things that are essential to everybody's plan, like your sleep, your rest, movement, your spirituality, uh, nutritious foods, but overall creating a plan, and it has to be intentional. If you don't make it intentional, anything could happen. If we don't plan, anything could happen. So it's important that you come up with these activities that are going to keep you feeling whole, and it has to be something that's going to work for you, and that'll look different for everybody. And so you can reach out to me by email, smalloy65@gmail.com.
And then Mama Sandella, can you tell them the website for Harambe Dance Company?
Sure. It's www.harambe, HARAMBEE, dancecompany.com.
Awesome. All right. So we added those things to the comments. How about you, Yolanda?
Hey, we got a lot going on. We got a lot going on.
I know you got a lot going on.
We closed down. We had to close shop. Was it March 19th? So eRefresh doors have been closed almost a month now, and it's like, wow. It first closed down. I got, how we gonna make it? How we gonna make it? How we gonna make it? So we got together, and we had to work with what we have products. So we said, okay, let's increase our product sales online. So you can order products from us. You can go to our website, iwefresh.com, iwifresh.com. You can go to our Instagram, which is iwefresh spa Atlanta. You can go to Facebook, and those are the places. Coronavirus, we did a doorstep delivery. So if you specify on your order that you want a doorstep delivery and you live here in Atlanta, we are going to drop your package off at your door with our social distancing. We're going to have a mask and gloves, and we're going to just drop it at the door. We ain't going to wait till you open the door. We're drop it at the door.
Send you a little ping. It's here.
A lot of our
right.
Yes, fresh Uber, like a little Uber. Then the other thing we're doing,
eRefresh Uber.
Yeah, eRefresh Uber. We're doing another thing every other Friday. We did our first one last night on Instagram Live. We're doing a home self-care spa party. And what we're doing is we're launching our zero waste saving your face. So what it is we're taking stuff out of your refrigerator, things in your cabinet that is getting old, like avocados, bananas, tomatoes, and we're showing you how you can reuse them for your face, for your skin. So we're doing the zero waste save your face on every other Friday. So we have another one coming
zero
up.
Waste.
I love it.
Waste, save your face.
I love it.
I love it.
It's going to be on the 24th at 6:00 on Instagram Live, eRefresh Live. So check us out. Last night we did a hand mask out of we had turmeric, bentonite clay, we had applesauce, whatever, honey, and we made a hand mask. Pretty cool. And then we had a little Lauren Hill playing in the background. So, we try to have a little fun with it. One of our big things we were doing before the coronavirus, we were opening up, well, we are opening up the Farm Oasis. We're actually expanding and we're opening up Iwi Fresh Farm Oasis, which is a social wellness center. And basically what it is, it's a healing center where we will have all type of healing modalities. We're going to have Reiki, sound therapy, yoni steam, body scrub room. We're going to have a sauna. We're going to have yoga. We'll have all type of healing modalities there. And it's going to be over in the south side of Atlanta, in Lakewood area, southwest Atlanta area. And it's something that I'm very passionate about because, again, like Farmer was saying, is, bringing it to the community, bringing this healing to the community, making it accessible so we don't have to drive but we may have to shift it, but we're still working. We were before the coronavirus, we had got about 7% of the construction was done before the coronavirus. So we have about a good 10% left to do. So we're seeing what's going to happen after the 13th to see what type of work we can do. They're still doing construction, but they're just not doing it as much. So it's looking at, if all, we may have to shift our open date to June as opposed to May. But it's going to be the Farm Oasis. We may have to make some adjustments on the new norm, of what I think we all going to have to do after this coronavirus. But I think it's going to be a wonderful thing for the community to come in and to have access to this social wellness. Yes, and our website is iwifresh.com.
Yeah. We posted the website in the comments. That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
I'm so excited about the Iwi Oasis. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's going to be fabulous. And so one of the things that Farmer J did not mention that
I'm sorry, it says so much.
that we actually collaborate on is spring. Actually, we do seasonal cleanses together. So unfortunately, we've been compromised in what we offer. We normally do these monthly sweats. And so the sweat lodge has been closed down. We're now looking for a new sweats location. And with the coronavirus, even though it's actually very good for killing viruses, from a social distancing standpoint, we couldn't have a bunch of people together. But what we've continued to do is have our seasonal cleanses. And so we've been doing Spring Into the Raw for some time. Spring Into the Raw is the brainchild of Jamila and myself. We've been doing this now for almost 5 years. And so actually Spring Into the Raw is happening now. I have a group of people. We have a group of folks who are going through the cleanse, but then there's some folks who couldn't start now and they're like, man, can you do it again? So we're actually running a second group, April 20th to the 29th. So if you guys are interested in participating in that cleanse, it's absolutely incredible. You just learn so much about eating raw, and you learn how to do it yourself, because I think a lot of these things, people think they have to pay money to get folks to do it for them. But you can create these amazing meals. You can do the work yourself. It's about empowerment. And so Jamila and I will be leading our second group of Spring Into the Raw folks on April 20th.
All right.
Yes. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and the recipes are accessible. We made sure that they were seasonal so you can shop local, and it's stuff that is, you're not having to go chase down exotic ingredients to participate, and you don't need fancy equipment to be able to do this. So it's very approachable. And even if you don't become raw after this, it's about just introducing you to all these fruits and vegetables, and now you have an arsenal of recipes that, first of all, are amazing, because
they are.
we make things taste good, and now you have all these recipes that you can now incorporate. And so Spring Into the World, 10 days, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes.
When you think about it, those are 30 recipes that you are now just going to have through this experience that you can incorporate into your everyday and just increase your amount of fresh fruits and vegetables that you are consuming. The other thing I
Count
want to
me in.
mention real quick, yeah, the other
Count
thing I
me
want to
in.
mention, huh?
Count me in. I'm in.
Count you in.
Woo!
Yay!
Yes,
I'm
I want to
telling
do
you,
it.
it's amazing. And it just started because I think I called Chef B and I was like, I feel like I just, like, you know how like when spring comes, like when winter hits, like
Yeah.
you want to eat like warm,
Yeah.
rich, comforting food. And spring
Mm-hmm.
comes and you feel light in your body and you just want it. So you
Yes.
just like that is your body letting you know
Urge.
like we're
It's an
moving into a
urge.
new season and you just gotta switch up what you're
Yeah.
eating, kind of shed that winter weight. It was cute. It was thick, but now it's time to, get ready for the summer. And so spring into the rock, get you started. And so we just were like, let's create some food and a program around that feeling and that trigger that our bodies just have internally and help people on that journey. So the other thing I wanted to mention as a resource is Chef B and I, like we mentioned before, we're doing actually it's a 108-day yoga program with this
Mm-hmm.
yoga teacher. He's out in California, and so
Yes.
all of this is online. So something else that I
Okay.
do on top of food is like I'm really passionate about movement, and yoga is something that I do a lot. And I got the opportunity to go overseas and film all these yoga videos. Then the next year I went and I filmed a bunch of food videos, like fresh food cooking videos and body care videos, and all of that is housed on a website called Udaya, UDAYA.com. And it is, and we're putting it in www.udaya.com. And they have, I'm telling you, hundreds and
Really
hundreds
good.
and hundreds of videos of any type of, it's yoga, meditation, stretching, food, health and wellness, body product videos. I did a bunch of fresh, healthy meals. And so they have a 30-day trial. If you go to the website and you type in the code is yoga, all caps, YOGA, you have a 30-day trial, and then after that it's $18 a month. But there's a 30-day trial and you can try it out. And I'm telling y'all, there's
Mm-hmm.
something for everybody, and you guys should check it out.
So
So
let me tell y'all, I'm getting my whole life with this yoga program.
yeah,
I'll be taking pictures and be like, I'm doing my down dog, I'm doing my this. It
yeah.
just feels so good to
Mm-hmm.
moving and having the time to just pour into myself. And
Yeah.
it's challenging, but you can see yourself getting stronger. When you think about how you started, like the first couple of exercises, the first few days, and then to be able to actually get through the workouts, it's like, oh my God, I know I'm getting stronger. Just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely incredible. Yoga, y'all. So, weightlifting, all those things. I know some of you cannot go to the gym. When you think about these opportunities to use the technology that you have to create your gym, your virtual gym. Utilize these technologies to create your virtual gym. All you gotta do is pull out your yoga mat. All you gotta do is push aside a table or a chair, and boom, you get to going. You get to doing it, and you're
Mm-hmm.
done. Move about your business. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything else. So it's really exciting that we have these technologies at our fingertips, just to make the things that we are used to doing just a little bit more accessible.
Accessible. Yeah.
Yes. So I will drop that inside the comments if you
Yeah.
guys are interested in doing the yoga. Actually, Jamila, if you can do that, that would be great. The other thing that I wanted to say to you guys, and I'm really excited about, this is the year for me, 2020. My sister, shout out to Dee Dee. My sister says 2020 is the year of clear vision. She's like, when you go to the doctor, 2020 vision, she's from New York. So if my sister's listening, I'm quoting you, Dee Dee, right? And she's so right. 2020 vision is the year of clear vision. All right. 2020 is the year of clear vision. And so for me, healing me first is something that I've been talking about since last year. And so I kind of put healing me first on everything. The thing that I'm excited to share with you guys is that we're going to be launching the Healing Me First podcast. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So Everyone knows that I've been doing a cooking show for some time, 2.5 years, Stirring It Up with Chef Beee, and I've absolutely loved doing that work. I've actually filmed that work at Iwi Fresh. And now
Yeah.
what we're doing is we're moving into this space of healing me first. And it's called Healing Me First, Stories of Breakthroughs, Transformations, and Healing. Our first show is going to be on April 30th with Dr. Catherine Eager Phillips. For those of you who don't know who she is the physician at Mind, Body, Spirit Wellness, which is the doctor that I go to. And she's absolutely wonderful, very knowledgeable, and just a beautiful spirit. So I thought that she would have been the most amazing person to kick off this podcast. I was in her office the day before yesterday doing vitamin C infusions, and there were so many comments when I posted myself in at her office. So I said, you know what, we really need to talk to people about this as a tool for healing. And she's like, yeah, let's do it, because people need to know about this. There's so many people that don't know that there are these holistic tools for taking care of themselves. So please, guys, look for that on April 30th, the Healing First podcast. I'll definitely be sharing more information about that very, very soon. And I really hope that you guys tune in. And then we also talked about spring into the raw. So we
Yeah.
got some good stuff that we are kicking off for the year. And I think that there's so many people who are ready. They're ready to receive what it is that we're offering. They're ready to be better. They're ready to be healed in however they define healing, from spiritual issues, from emotional issues, from physical issues. They're people who are ready to do the work. And I'm so grateful that unfortunately, we had to have a major crisis to push people in that space. But I think people are absolutely there and they're ready to raise their vibration. Would you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
All right. So actually, we're at about almost done. I wanted to remind you guys, if you didn't get this book, this is an amazing book. It is an anthology. It's the story of 11 holistic health professionals, practitioners, and their journeys to wellness. And I am one of the authors in this book, Awaken to Wellness. And I actually just wanted to read you just a short little excerpt, just something short from here. And then we can close it out. So I talk about what we said earlier, this whole idea of having to change everything to change everything. And I'm talking about just getting ready for Kwaku. So I say here, for anyone who's ever questioned the power of lifestyle change and how it can transform your entire wellness, I'm here to testify that changing everything changes everything. At the age of 42, I gave birth to my second son, Kwaku. This beautiful little boy was welcomed into our family with wide open arms, joy, excitement, and abundance of love. We knew and felt that he was one of our ancestors that had returned. He was destined in every way to be here. He came into our lives from the union of two souls, my husband and myself. We had crossed paths many moons ago on a university campus, only to reconnect later in life to bring forth this warrior and advance our legacy. There was so much time and attention given to what I thought, felt, and did in order to birth this prince. We asked the ancestors to bless us with a strong spirited child, and the boy that we got, we sure did get what we asked for. Look at him now in awe, because he was our prayers answered and our vision manifested from our wildest dreams. My baby boy and most people would never know all that we fought for to ensure that he would come through my sacred portal healthy, whole, strong, and spiritually intact. I was reborn again as a result of his birth, and I knew that in order for this pregnancy to have an important outcome and a different outcome, I would have to change everything. Different thoughts, different rituals, different foods, and embrace a different kind of living and commitment to myself. This is my journey. I learned what the power of setting specific intentions, incorporating spirituality, eating high vibrational foods, and doing powerful rituals consistently could offer me. This is my story of self-discovery. So that's just a little in the book.
Okay, Chef Beee.
That
Yes,
was beautiful. That
That
was beautiful.
was. I'm sitting
yes.
here like, ooh, tell me more.
Get the
Yes.
book.
I got to get the book.
Get the book, Awaken to Us. So really, this is put together by Angela Kudger of Legacy Holistic Health Institute. For those of you who are listening and you know who you are a leader in your community. You are the person that people come to answer questions around health and wellness. You want to consider considering furthering your education and becoming a health coach or becoming a part of our tribe. All right. And so, yes, please get this book. If you have questions about legacy, if you have questions about the book, you can always ask me. I don't want to be remiss. There's someone who asked a question about turmeric. Mama Aikina says, can you give tips about using turmeric? What's the fastest and most effective way to get the benefits of turmeric? So from my understanding of turmeric, Aikina, turmeric has curcumin, which is the active ingredient in turmeric. And it's bioavailable when it is combined with black pepper. If it is not combined with black pepper, it does not activate the curcumin in the turmeric. And so when you're taking turmeric, you want to make sure that you're adding black pepper to it. And then you're good to go. Because we know that turmeric has those anti-inflammatory properties. But you're not going to get those anti-inflammatory properties if you just eat turmeric by itself. You got to bring it in with black pepper. Anybody else want to offer anything they know about turmeric? Anybody?
Well, I'll say the way that I consume turmeric is I like it. I like the
I mean,
flavor
it's
of
good.
it fresher over dry. Now, I don't know if it's more effective one way or the other, but personally, I just like the flavor of it. So I will get fresh turmeric, peel it, and then just go ahead and grind up a bunch of it and just have it in a mason jar in the refrigerator. Then sometimes in the morning when I'm doing my hot lemon or hot lime water, a warm lime water, warm lemon, I'll just take a spoonful of that, mix it in, sprinkle a little black pepper on it, and consuming it that way. Another way that I love to consume turmeric, just because I'm out of the farm a lot and I'm always like trying to keep these joints, moving and lubricated, is I will do a turmeric latte before bed. And that's a really good way of incorporating that black pepper into your turmeric. It's almost like when you do chai has black pepper, cinnamon, all that stuff. So you do your turmeric with black pepper and, some warm nut milk.
That sounds so good.
Sweeteners. I don't really do sweeteners, but you could do like maybe a touch of honey or a little maple syrup, and you just kind of like warm that up in a pot and you sip on that, and that is just like amazing, and it's like just luxurious to just like be sipping on something that beautiful and golden and delicious. So those are my two ways that I really incorporate turmeric, and then like just cooking with it.
Yeah.
Just whatever. And those mixtures already have, you're not going to find a curry that has turmeric that doesn't have black pepper in it. It's like people already understood the synergy of all these things. That's how these blends are what they are,
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I always encourage people.
Also, real quick, you can use turmeric on the skin. Okay, so it's good for the skin. It's high in anti-inflammatory. You can mix it with honey. It's good for acne. It's good for dark marks, dark circles. So anytime you want to remove or you want to lighten the skin, turmeric is great for that. Great for that.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Okay.
And someone says, cook it with the strong ginger tea and add a little coconut oil. Ooh,
there it is.
Really, really good. Mama said, do you use any turmeric at all?
I use it for all the things that you guys have mentioned. I use it a lot for, sometimes I'll get achy joints and I find that it's very helpful for that, but I use it in the morning like I'm a tea drinker too, Jamila. You see me throughout this, I'm sipping on my tea. So I drink tea all day long, first thing in the morning, throughout the day, and at night. I'm a big tea, and I'll just sprinkle some in my tea, or I'll put it with lemon, water, hot water, lemon in the morning, ginger and turmeric. I like that combination in the morning. And I cook with it. My kids say to me all the time, Mommy, you don't have to put it in everything. My dish is not complete until I sprinkle some on there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. So I love turmeric too. I definitely do a lot of curries. I'm from the Caribbean. So I'm a curry fanatic. And so, as you know, when you do curries, it has everything in, as Jamila's mentioned. So I'm getting my curry, I'm getting my turmeric. And I like to just remind people that whatever it is that you're trying to do, like let's say you have some health challenge, really try to eat the foods for that health challenge. So if you're trying to balance your blood sugar, try to stay away from the rice, try to stay away from the bread, or just really try to eliminate it altogether and eat things that are not going to spike your blood sugar. If you are dealing with hyperlipidemia, you want to try to keep not a lot of oils in your food or try to cook without oils. So we want to really get into the habit of you really using the food as medicine principle. You know, I think we kind of say that, oh, you know, we just kind of talk about it, but do we really understand what that means, right? Let's really be intentional about how we're eating the foods that we're putting on our plate so that it can really serve as food as medicine for
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I want to say real quick, just with that, I think, you know, for some people who are maybe experiencing some really severe health issues, things like that, it's not an either or, right? Like you can be, you know, doing what your doctor is telling you to do, and then you're supporting it, you know what I mean, with those foods, with those lifestyle changes, with your, you know, positive intentions. And that just helps your healing process, you know, significantly. Because sometimes we go, you know, you've ignored yourself, if you've done whatever you've done, or you've just been the subject of, you know, maybe like really bad environmental toxins or whatever, and what you have or what you're dealing with is something where you know, you might need something drastic to help you deal with it. But being able to survive that and come out better and healthy and just all of that, you want to support. So it's not an either or sometimes, you know, it can be in support of whatever it is that you're doing. So and that way I feel like that can be a little bit more approachable to some people as well, not feeling like they have to abandon one thing and go into
Yeah.
a total unknown, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges
True.
for people in their healing.
That's
They
true.
feel like they have to give up a whole lot of things in order to get to this side. And really, everything is gradual, right? In some cases, people do have to give up things all the way. But that's because it's been many, 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 many years of degradation of their system, right? But in general, we can probably just transition, right? We can transition and in that transition process, we just have a different view of how we're looking at our plate. We have a different view of healing and wellness and all of these different things. So it's a journey, and that's the point that we're trying to make here. It is a journey. You're not going to get to where you
It's a
need to be
journey.
by tomorrow. It takes time because you're constantly analyzing, tweaking, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. That's just the nature of all of this. You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any closing thoughts from you guys? You know, anything? I know Jamila,
Yeah,
you just said what you said. Do you have
it's a
anything
Mhm.
else
journey.
you want to share before we close out?
Girl, you keep asking us, we're
Um,
gonna keep talking. I'm good.
I
yeah,
know.
for me, I think it's just really about, like you said, getting in tune with yourself, really getting in touch with who you really are, and really, really understanding that we have to eat to live, and we have to do these things to live and not to do it the opposite way. You know, I think a lot of times we just eat and we put things in our body, not realizing what it really just get in touch with ourselves. Because I know for me,
Oh, technical difficulties.
Oh,
No.
my I mean, I was eating health. Can All righty, am I back? Am I back?
You're
I'm
back.
back.
We hear you. Yep.
I'm back.
yeah,
Yep.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna
we can
say
hear you.
quickly so that I won't have technical difficulties. But for me, with my journey, what I had to learn is I had to really go deep within myself, and I had to get a chance to know Yolanda a little bit more, and I had to get a chance to really be to really be vulnerable, to allowing
Yes.
myself to be real with myself.
Mm-hmm. I see. I
Mhm.
know what you're saying. Yeah.
Me too.
Pauses here. But I think it's about really getting to know yourself and being okay with what you find out and being okay some old thinkings, some old thoughts, some old things and bringing on
Mm-hmm.
some new stuff
Mm-hmm.
and really being okay with that. I think I had to learn that. I had some old beliefs that had been with me probably since childhood that I had to go in and reprogram. And so
Mm-hmm.
during this
Yeah.
coronavirus time, I think this is a good time to go in and reprogram some old thoughts and old beliefs. So I will say that it's refreshing. Don't be afraid to do it. And the one thing I learned through my journey is don't let fear get in the way. Don't let
Mm-hmm.
fear stop you because
Mm.
fear will show up. It will show up and it will allow you to do some crazy things. But if you can manage the fear and be okay to be free, you're going to find yourself to an awakening of wellness.
Mm.
Yes.
I say.
All
Mama
right.
Sandela.
Yeah, that was awesome, Yolanda. And if I could piggyback on that, I think what I've learned along my journey is making yourself a priority is important. Doing the things that are important to you. It's not going to look the way it might look for somebody else. It might, as Yolanda talked about, might not look the same as what was done maybe generations ago. You're going to take what you find will work for you from what our mothers or fathers might have used. But you're going to individualize this self-care plan for yourself so that it it's something that helps you to feel whole. And so, but just think about your physical health, movement, sleeping, professionally, what you're doing, all those things, and nutritionally, what you're putting into your bodies, all those things are so important to your physical health, your mental health. What are you thinking? You know, make sure you fill your mind with positive things and be aware of what you're taking in as well. Um, Keep your mind stimulated, participating in new activities, reading, doing activities that are just going to keep you feeling motivated. And then spiritually connecting to whatever your practice might be, that's important. If you want to attend a place, well, right now we can't, of course, attend places of worship outside, but there's a lot happening online that you can participate in, anything that'll connect you to the universe. I just feel like physically, mentally, and then spiritually, it's important to be intentional with whatever activities you're going to do or not do. Sometimes it's a
Mm-hmm.
matter of cutting out certain things and saying
Mm.
no to certain things and keeping those things that are going to bring you joy.
I say. And I would just sort of add in there, please just be mindful about what the company that you're keeping. I think it's so important to have a community of folks that understand where you're going. They're like-minded, particularly if you're in a space where you have family members that don't necessarily understand what you're doing, how you eat, the kind of lifestyle you live. It's important to find people, your tribe, that can support you and that you can support and inspire you, so that you can continue to do the work that you're doing. So for me, that's been very, very important. And I'm so grateful, that I've been able to just find folks who are in alignment with just how I do things. We don't see eye to eye on everything, but we have the same common vision and mission in our respective communities. And that's where the love and that's where we intersect. That's where we meet. So I encourage all of you, find your tribe.
That's
Find
right.
your tribe. Find the people that are in alignment with you, and it should feel good. If you look to the left and look to the right of yourself, and the folks that you
Amen.
are rolling with,
Ashe.
you're not, they're not handling their business. They out here not washing their hands. They're like, Corona what? I'm going to fish fry. Corona what? I'm going to, I'm social distancing, what? Nah, can't roll with you, shorty. So we definitely need to have people who are in alignment with us. All right. All right. So I'm gonna close it out there, y'all. Thank you so much for
Can I,
being on
Chef
here.
B, can I say this real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
I want to say thank you to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I know for me, you have been, I'm so glad you're in my tribe. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
you're part of my tribe. And, you know, you guys, you know, part of my health journey through what I went through, Chef B was part of that. She's been part of that. And I will tell you that, you know, when I went through this, Chef B was one of the people that came to me and said, "Hey, Yolanda, I know you're changing your lifestyle. I know you're going on a health journey, and I'm going to provide you with foods free of service while you're going through your healing." So I just want to say thank you, Chef B.
I
She's given me a bunch of resources. My doctor, Dr. K, who has been helping part of my health journey, came from Chef B. So, like she said, having a tribe of people already in your healing circle, it just makes it better because you never know what you're going to be faced with. You never know.
Yep.
So thank you, Chef B, for the
yeah,
love and the kindness that you have poured upon my healing journey. Thank you.
Ashe. Thank you. I
Thank
love
you.
you. I love each of y'all. Y'all don't even know.
Yeah.
I just do. So thank you guys for taking the time to share your wisdom and your just everything that you are doing with the folks who are viewing. And please continue to shine your light on folks. You guys are doing important work, and you need to know that you're doing important work. All right.
Yeah. And thank you to the people that joined us. Oh my God.
Yes. Yes,
Even such
indeed.
beautiful, encouraging words.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So without further ado, we went 2 hours, y'all. We did it.
Wow.
I made it, y'all. I made it through.
2
Yeah,
hours,
you made
y'all.
it.
All right, so y'all, look, please hit these ladies up for their services. They are amazing. You know, we want to keep things in the community, and we also want to make sure that we're getting the best quality products out there. And these ladies have it. All right, so make sure that you go to the comments and that you hit them up for their services and products. Okay, y'all. So we're gonna
Right.
jump off. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you
Yes.
guys for joining Awaken to Wellness Healing Me First. And stay tuned for the Healing Me First podcast. We have our first show on April 30th. All right, y'all?
Yep. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.